Have you ever heard of a book that no one can read? An ancient manuscript written in a language no expert has ever managed to decipher, filled with strange symbols and enigmatic drawings that seem to hide secrets impossible to understand. It is believed that this manuscript, known today as the Voynich Manuscript, came into the hands of Emperor Rudolf II in the 16th century. A monarch fascinated by the occult and alchemy, Rudolf spared no expense and paid a fortune for the book, convinced it contained forbidden knowledge and perhaps the secrets of the great philosopher and investigator Francis Bacon. But how did this strange book end up in the Jesuit monastery where it would be forgotten for centuries? It is said that after Rudolf II's death, the manuscript passed through several hands until it was finally given to the Jesuits, who kept it guarded and hidden, far from curious and suspicious eyes. It wasn't until 1912 that a Polish book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich discovered this enigmatic book in a Jesuit library, finally bringing to light the mystery it deserved. Or at least, that's what it seemed. But what if the story told about the manuscript is only part of the truth? What if Rudolf II wasn't deceived by a clever merchant, but in fact knew the true origin and power of this book? Francis Bacon was one of the most brilliant and visionary minds of the Renaissance. A philosopher, scientist, and tireless investigator, he dedicated his life to exploring the secrets of knowledge and seeking methods to understand and master nature. In works like Novum Organum, he laid the foundations of the modern scientific method, and in the New Atlantis, he described a utopia where science and knowledge guide humanity toward a better future. He also wrote about prophecies, predictions, and technologies that seemed far ahead of his time, which raised suspicion among his contemporaries. In fact, Bacon was even investigated by the English court and briefly imprisoned, accused of corruption, although many believe it was a political maneuver to silence his ideas. But the figure of Bacon is not free of mystery. Some say he was not only a thinker, but also a guardian of hidden wisdom, ancient knowledge transmitted through codes, intended only for the initiated to understand. And what if Bacon wasn't the original author of the manuscript? What if he simply encoded a much older knowledge, perhaps a lost legacy to protect it? Not far from where Francis Bacon lived and worked, in the heart of Somerset, lie the Wookey Hole Caves, a place that, according to the official version, was shaped over millennia by the flow of the river Axe, which slowly carved the limestone rock into deep chambers, dark tunnels, and submerged passageways. For centuries, the caves were used as shelter, a site for rituals, and even as the source of local legends. The most famous tells of a solitary woman, accused of witchcraft, who ventured into the depths of the cave to brew potions, observe the stars, and heal with plants. The story says she was turned to stone by a monk with holy water, and her figure can still be seen today in a rock formation. But what if the official story wasn't the real one? Today, we know of underground cities capable of housing thousands of people. In Turkey, for example, the city of Derinkuyu was discovered by accident, a colossal structure carved into the rock, with up to 18 levels underground, tunnels, chambers, ventilation systems, water wells, and even a complex lighting network. An entire city beneath our feet, which operated for centuries, and whose true depth remains unknown. We also know that in isolated environments and under extreme conditions, completely different plants and species can develop. And for centuries, diseases were treated with herbs, brews, and knowledge passed down orally, especially by women who, in many cases, were accused of witchcraft simply for possessing knowledge. The Wookey Hole Cave has never been fully explored. There are submerged areas, collapsed passages, and who knows if there are sealed chambers where air bubbles from ancient times still remain. What if that woman accused of witchcraft was really a survivor of an ancient civilization? A healer with real knowledge of the body, Of plants, perhaps even of water birth, as some women still practice today? What if Bacon knew all this? What if the Voynich Manuscript isn't an esoteric treatise or a meaningless book, but a coded manual on how to survive underground, preserve life, heal disease, and prepare humanity for a future catastrophe? Maybe we're not just looking at a historical enigma. Maybe we're staring at a message, one we still haven't learned how to read.